Hi! Hello everyone. Today I'm back with a probably even more controversial video. So today we're going to be talking about why an artist would want to vote for Donald Trump. Okay, so I think there's a lot of reasons to vote for Donald Trump. Just hear me out for a moment. I know that there's a lot of hatred for this guy. He represents something that many people disagree with. But I think a lot of it's fueled by our dishonest media. Okay? So if you actually take a moment to dig into the facts surrounding a lot of news stories, you realize that Donald Trump is not even an eighth of the villain that they make him out to be. He gets called literally Hitler all the time. And if he was literally Hitler, you couldn't say that. You would disappear, right? So that's something I want to make sure that I'm not going to focus on that, but I just want to make sure I get that out there, that just research the things, the evil things you hear about him, and see if they're actually true. Are his lies really lies, or is he using hyperbole? Or is he just saying stuff that he doesn't really know about? So Donald Trump is far from evil. I think he's more along the lines of just speaks without always thinking, and he's not exceptionally well with. He doesn't do a great job with words, and I'm over here tripping over my words constantly trying to say that, so I'm no better maybe, but he doesn't have a great way of communicating his thoughts. So a lot of things he says aren't really that bad, it's just they come out wrong. So this isn't just a 100% defense of Donald Trump and all the things he says, but look it up for yourself. Be skeptical. Have some healthy skepticism. Okay, that's a great thing to have for artists, and it's a great thing to have for anyone. Everyone, every single person should have a healthy dose of skepticism about them and not just believe everything they hear on TV. Because those people on TV, all the way from the news media, all the way down to the people who just write entertainment, they have a worldview and they have an agenda. And you better be sure they're going to put it in the content that they produce. Okay? So, why on earth would an artist want to vote for Donald Trump? Well, number one, like I said in another video, art is communication. Art is a language. And Donald Trump is a big supporter of free speech. So if you think about it, the media is always saying he's literally Hitler, he's evil, he doesn't like free speech, he hates the Constitution, all this stuff. Well, who's the one who's always being censored on Twitter? Is it Donald Trump? Or is it the progressives and the liberal media? I think we easily know the answer to that. Trump's Twitter account has been blocked at least 60 times. And so he's not the one silencing free speech. He's actually a constitutionalist. You can tell that by his Supreme Court justice pick. So another controversy right here, right? So everybody's mad about Amy Coney Barrett. They think she's going to overturn all these decisions and that she is some kind of evil person who will ruin America. But she is a constitutionalist. She is someone who is an originalist. She believes that we should look at what the Constitution actually means instead of just legislating from the courts. Let's take a look at that for just a moment and figure out why is that important. Okay, so if you try to look at what the Constitution actually means, the Constitution is a really well-written document where some really brilliant men have come together and tried to figure out how to keep their freedom. Okay, these are people that freedom means everything to. All right, so these people have labored long and hard trying to figure out devices to keep your government from getting too powerful. And so they made checks and balances, and one of those checks and balances is the Supreme Court. Okay? So you have to elect officials, and those elected officials, they represent you. This is a republic, okay? And those elected officials, they then vote in law. They legislate. They are legislators. Supreme Court is supposed to uphold that law and rule on that law, not make up new laws, okay? They are supposed to follow the letter of the law, and what that's supposed to do then is to ensure that you have your freedom and that the people you pick make the laws you want, and then the laws you want are enforced, okay? So the power is in your hands, all right? And that's something I think all artists want, right? Okay, so with that being said, the way laws are written right now, we legislate through Congress like we're supposed to, but then the Supreme Court bypasses your voice as an American and legislates from the bench. Okay, so they're bypassing your vote. So all these people that are mad that Amy Coney Barrett is going to follow the Constitution and protect the laws that you vote into place, here's the thing. I hear all the time, well, if we take the Constitution originally, with its original intent, how can we grow as a country and change things? Well, there's a way to do that in the Constitution, okay? So what you want to do is you want to vote in representatives that change these laws. You don't want to bypass your vote and have Supreme Court justices that change the law whenever they see fit by just interpreting it differently, right? So that's a real issue, and so we want the power to be focused back on us and our vote. And so if Amy Coney Barrett, for some reason, overturns Roe v. Wade, which Roe v. Wade is unconstitutional, so I'm not going to fight on whether you should have abortions or not. I write a lot about that in my blog entries, and you can go and look those up and see my opinion. Obviously, I'm a Christian and a conservative, so I'm not going to say probably, I am pro-life, hands down. But that is regardless of what I'm arguing for. Okay, so what I'm saying is if it gets overturned, then what you have on your hands is a matter for it to fall back to the states. And that's a good thing. We want states' rights, okay? We don't want a representative far, far away from us telling us how to live our lives in our state. Okay, and you shouldn't want to tell other people how to live their lives in another state. So as Christians, I get accused all the time of trying to be controlling, but Christians aren't actually controlling. God gave us free will, and he gave us a choice, and we give people a choice. If you want to disregard God and live a lifestyle opposite of him and his ways, and you don't want to abide in him and be made into a son or daughter of God, then you don't have to. We're not going to make you. No one's going to make you. God even gave you the power when he made you to choose. And we all deserve that freedom. And one of those freedoms is the freedom of speech. Okay? So your individual country, your individual state, rather, will have representatives that you choose, that grow up knowing your culture. They have the same culture. They're not some distant, far-removed person who has different beliefs and different ideas than you. For the most part, they're going to be like you. And so you're going to have a representative who knows how you feel, in theory. Okay? And that's what we want voting on this kind of issue. So, if Roe v. Wade fails and falls because it's unconstitutional, which it is, these people, these judges, just made stuff up, saying that it was in the penumbra of the Constitution. It wasn't in the Constitution, but it's kind of implied in a way if you squint your eyes and spin around in circles till you get dizzy, okay? But it's not really there. It's not really there, okay? And so this should be a state's right. This is the federal government stealing your power. It's stealing your power. And this should upset you as an artist, as someone who communicates and expresses themselves and wants free speech. Free speech is invaluable to artists. You can't express yourself if you're muzzled. Okay? And so that's reason number one to vote for Donald Trump. Reason number two to vote for Donald Trump. If you're an artist, most likely you care about the environment. Most artists do. Okay? Now I'm just generalizing. Only some of them don't, I'm sure. I know I do. As a Christian and as an artist. God gave us a command to subdue and rule over the earth and to take care of it and to be stewards of it in Genesis. Okay? And I know many, many artists tend to care strongly and deeply about the environment. Okay? And so many people think that Donald Trump doesn't take global warming seriously enough. Well, I personally believe that the temperature is warming, and I don't like the word climate change. Climate change is absolutely meaningless. That word means nothing. Okay? The climate changes almost constantly. So I don't like that word. Disregard that word. I reject that word. I don't use it. Okay? So you can use it if you like because we have free speech. All right, but I don't use that word. I think it's pointless and it's silly. Whether you believe in global warming or not, that's up to you. I think, there could be a strong case made saying that the science isn't 100% great science. I don't think there's enough measurements taken. But like I said, I believe it overall. And a lot of scientists, a lot of Christian scientists that I listen to and respect, believe it. And so, I'm not an expert. Everything I see, it seems like maybe it's true. Okay, I'm not a denier. Okay. But here's the thing, it's changed like what? Not even 2 degrees over 100 years. Okay? So you can't blame that on Donald Trump. All right? So look it up yourself. If I'm off by, half a degree, whatever. But I'm just saying, I'm not lying. That's, I'm just using general figures. All right? So Donald Trump has a clean energy, a clean water and air platform that he's running, but he also deregulates a lot of things, so a lot of environmentalists don't like that. On the other hand, Biden's energy plan is absolutely a terror. Okay, so it has a lot of the check marks in it that we want to see as environmentalists, but unfortunately, a lot of those things that are in clean energy are actually horrible. They're actually horrible. Okay, windmills are generating tons and tons of waste. A lot of that waste is being buried in landfills in Africa. Okay, and electric batteries. The batteries are going to be required to store this energy. Okay. Number one, I would say windmills do not. They do also use up non-renewable resources to be made. And they also decay and end up in the landfills and end up polluting the earth. And they require batteries. Batteries are absolutely terrible for the environment. Mining for the batteries is terrible for the environment. The batteries themselves, when they're spent, are terrible for the environment. It's something that sounds great on the surface, but it's actually not feasible, and it's not good for the earth. So look it up for yourselves. Don't just take my word for it. Go see what are the drawbacks of clean energy. What are the problems? And turbines also kill a lot of birds, and I know that they began painting them another color, and that seems to lessen it, but there's still a gigantic amount of birds being killed, and a lot of them are big birds. And I mean, like on Sesame Street, I mean big, slow reproducing birds like eagles and things like that. And so that's horrible for the environment, right? All right. So same thing for electric cars. He wants to replace the fleet with electric cars. He wants to make millions and millions of electric cars everywhere, and that sounds great. And I like electric cars. I think they're pretty cool. As a mechanic, from that perspective, I think electric motors are really cool. Electric cars are cool. But, as much as I want them to be good for the environment, they're not. Once again, those batteries do damage mining to make those batteries does damage. Also, a lot, right, at least right now, a lot of the electricity that we're using for these electric cars is still burned by fossil fuels. Okay, so I know Biden wants to get rid of all fossil fuels eventually, but that's where a lot of our electricity is coming from. Just look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up. Okay, I've looked it up myself because, like I said, I want this stuff to be true. I want it to be good for the environment, but it is not. Okay, hands down, it's not. Okay, so you can say whatever you want. You know, Trump's policies may make in another 100 years we might get another degree or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hotter, but these electric cars are going to do damage right now. Okay, and so that's what we need to be looking at. We need to be looking at what can we do to stop the bleeding right now, and what can we do as a culture to help the effect over time. Okay, and so I think Donald Trump is our best candidate for the environment. Number 3, the reason to vote for Donald Trump if you are an artist. Historically, artists are typically on the left-leaning side, and they are, a lot of them are out and out communists. Okay, now that's because artists overall are romantic. Not all of us, but many of us over the history of art. And communism sounds like a great idea. Socialism sounds like a great idea. It sounds so good on paper. Everybody's equal. It doesn't matter if you're a star in the NBA, or if you are working at McDonald's, or if you are a manufacturer, or if you do construction work, or if you're a CEO. Everyone gets paid the same and everybody's equal. That sounds fantastic, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work in reality. Okay, we have example after example after example in history where it's led to mass horrors on a massive scale. You know, you look at Stalin and Pol Pot and many others. So socialism does not pan out. It sounds great, but usually what happens is everyone is equal, all right? They're equally poor. So just look at all the atrocious things that have happened. And, you know, you can say, well, what about the Scandinavian countries? Well, the Scandinavian countries aren't really socialist. They have a big welfare state. They have socialized medicine in a way, but they became so successful before they did socialized medicine, and I think they're going to start suffering the consequences of it once their government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And their tax scale is actually super flat. Okay, and they're very much free enterprise, and it is super easy to and deregulated to start businesses there. So you can tout them all you want, but they're not really socialist. Now look at Venezuela. That's a place that's really socialist, and they've gone downhill fast. That doesn't necessarily have a 100% to do with artists on the surface, but it does, because artists need that. We need that luxury that American free enterprise gives us. It gives us the resources and the time, the luxury of time to think deep thoughts and do deep research and really express ourselves. And that's something that's required, I think, to make really awesome art. You can make art from suffering as well. So we could make that kind of art. We could suffer greatly, but you're going to suffer in life regardless. There's no need to add to it. Trust me. If you're not suffering now, give it time. It'll happen. Okay? So I think there's an even bigger problem. What is the role of artists in socialist or communist regimes? So what is going to be your job? Look at how many artists there are in America. Who buys the art? The wealthy. How many people are artists? Tons of people. Do you think that if we were a communist nation and everybody had their jobs assigned and everyone had their money allotted, divvied out, you think you would just be able to pick, like, oh, I'm going to be an artist? This place needs, 2 million artists, and they're just going to pay you to paint and do whatever you want, express yourself and make art for art's sake. Look it up. Get back to me on this. I would love to hear. I've never heard even one person tell me how I could be a fine artist in a communist or socialist society. What would be my role? Where would I be? Could I express myself? Could I make all the fine art that I make that's just pure poetry? Just expressing myself and trying to connect with my fellow man? There would be some graphic designers, there'd be some propaganda makers, there'd be some people, doing stuff for the government, but just purely expressing yourself, that would be a very rare job, I bet, in a socialist society. So just keep that in mind, all of you sympathetic to socialists. So Donald Trump actually is very unsympathetic to socialism and communism. Right now, he actually condemns openly and openly tries to thwart two Marxist organizations that are running rampant in America. And so I would say, and Biden has yet to condemn them. Okay, so that's another reason to vote for Donald Trump if you're an artist, is that do you want to continue to be an artist who's free to do what you want to do? Some other real quick points. Donald Trump is doing wonders there, making peace in the Middle East. Wow, whoever thought it? I mean, that was a joke when I was younger. Peace in the Middle East. It's like, that could never happen. Donald Trump's actually doing that. So I know a lot of artists are pacifists. Well, there you go. Another reason is that most artists, like I said, are for freedom, and we are opposed absolutely to slavery. And you have a lot of people on the left here that say they support, they absolutely support social justice and all this stuff, and they don't like Donald Trump because they think he's not for social justice. But Donald Trump is really hard on China, and I call all of our corporations here, like Nike, they're the woke joke. They say they're woke. They make really bold claims about how they don't want racists to buy their shoes, and they endorse Colin Kaepernick. But let's face it, they actually get their shoes made and their products made in China by actual real slaves. Actual real slaves. So look it up. China right now is doing some religion and race-based slavery right now, and they have concentration camps and everything, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so, but to me, that's a woke joke. That's a woke joke, and Trump is solidly hard on China. He does not cut them any slack. Where Joe Biden has, his son's actually making business deals with them, and he's saying they're not our enemy, and they may not be our enemy, but their ideas are enemies against our ideals. Okay, and we need to be hard on them. We don't need to just give them a free pass and let them get away with slavery and everything else. Now, I've tried to give you some reasons as an artist to vote for Donald Trump and why you would want to vote for Donald Trump. Look this stuff up for yourself. Really give him a chance. This is not a personality contest. I was very skeptical of Donald Trump at first. I did not want to vote for him when it was him and Hillary, but I wanted to vote for Hillary even less. Over the years, I've seen him work in a way that is actually, he's followed up with many of the things he said. Even, I thought building the wall was crazy. I didn't think he was going to do that. He actually started doing it. Okay, so Donald Trump is not a liar. He's made good on almost all of his promises. He's actually, he's not as terrible as people make him out to be. So look it up. Look it up for yourself. See what he's done. See what he says. All the things that people say he says. Go look it up for yourself and see if it's true. So this is not an exhaustive list for artists. There's much more. I also did a blog. I wrote a blog entry. You can find it on my Facebook page about why a Christian would want to vote for Donald Trump. And the list is even more extensive. So, and even it's not exhaustive. But those are reasons to vote for Donald Trump. He is a constitutionalist, and the things you like, he allows you to do them in your state, right? So he gives you a lot of freedom, and artists thrive on freedom, okay? So I hope this gives you some food for thought. And, you know, I'm probably going to get, you know, if anyone even sees this video, I'm probably going to get a lot of venom for this, a lot of rebuke, but, you know, I just want to let you know, I don't get my value and my dignity and my joy from what other people think of me. I get all that from God. He has saved me and lifted me out of a horrible pit and made me his son, a prince of the Almighty. And so that's where all my dignity and all my joy comes from, is from him. And so there's nothing anyone can do to take it away. So you can write horrible comments, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you it's not going to do any good. Maybe it'll make you feel better. So, all right, everyone, until next time.